Alrighty, welcome to Too Station, you fine people. I hope you brought a winter jacket because here we are going to talk about all things The Thing, but mostly The Thing 2. This is because we recently were teased big time with a possible sequel to one of my favourite horror films of all time by none other than the big man himself, John Carpenter. Before we begin, if you enjoy the video then please leave a like or perhaps consider subscribing, as I will be covering all future news regarding the Thing sequel and also the upcoming Alien TV show and films. Thank you very much. So John Carpenter, appearing at a recent Texas horror convention, might have accidentally or on purpose spilt the beans on a third The Thing movie. The reports state he was asked if there would ever be a follow-up to his beloved horror film, and I can honestly say, if I was in the audience, I would have probably grilled him myself about the subject, as I know I'm not alone in believing The Thing to be in the top 3 horror films of all time, right next to Alien of course. However, he had this to say: I have been sworn to secrecy, okay? Because there may be, I don't know if there will be, there may be a Thing 2. If this was any other project with any other director, then who cares, right? But this is The Thing, and it's John Carpenter. So if you'll indulge me, it would be an understatement if I said I was a little excited. It was only near the end of last year that Carpenter said he wasn't interested in making a new movie, as it was too much stress and he is too old to handle it. He is enjoying life too much and is focused on music. He also made contradicting statements regarding there being updates on the film that he wasn't allowed to speak of. So between then and now he remains coy with his answers and is clearly keeping his cards close to his chest about the subject. So I would surmise that there have indeed been talks between him and the studio on the matter, and the likelihood of another The Thing movie being made could be quite high. Remember as well that studios are not shy of prequels, sequels or even remakes. Even if the scripts are not particularly good, they still always go ahead, don't they? But let's hope if it does happen, it happens for the right reasons. I wish I could talk for days with you guys about how groundbreaking and important 1982's The Thing was. Maybe I will in another video. From its relentless pursuit of masterful practical effects to the constant air of paranoia that surrounds the characters as you, the audience member, suffer with them in trying to figure out who is the Thing at any given moment. I must have watched the 1982 version about 50 times by now, and still the film tricks me every time. The cast were flawless at setting the mood and entertained us from start to finish. The prequel, however, was not in the same category, shall we say. They settled on diminishing visual effects using CGI as opposed to practical, which even today might still be a mistake. Aside from that, the cast were fine. They did well for what they had to work with, and the story was simply okay. Assuming that this all goes ahead and we fans amazingly get another John Carpenter The Thing movie, I suppose if there was an elephant in the room to discuss, then it would be how a lot of his movies from the 90s onwards were not of the same standard as his earlier works. I mean, he gave us Halloween, Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China, for Christ's sake. So many great childhood films for me. Sadly though, his recent attempts at reviving the Halloween franchise just don't interest me in the slightest. But you know what, I'd rather have another The Thing movie made by John Carpenter than not have one. If only to explore a little more about this intelligent cell replicating species and where it came from. I remember when I was very young and seeing the huge alien spacecraft just resting on the ice and wondering who or what built this craft. It could not have been The Thing, surely. I used to imagine whatever alien species built it, it had to have been assimilated by The Thing and its craft stolen. There is always so much mystery and wonder in these films when the mystery is simply left alone, and was very reminiscent of the derelict in Alien. Part of me still wishes the derelict was still a mystery and not so clinically explained away by the current story of the engineers. Well, there isn't much else to report on currently, but I imagine after Carpenter's comments there will be much more buzz and maybe some pressure on the studio to get the ball moving on this project. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section, as I'd love to hear from you guys and girls. I mean, do you even want another movie in this franchise? If so, what do you think the film could explore? Let me know. Well, thanks very much if you made it to the end, and I hope you enjoyed your stay at Too Station. As soon as we get anything more, I'll invite you back, so take care guys.